Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 17th Annual Newburyport Documentary Film Festival. This is our preview party. I am Program Director James Sullivan, and as you can tell, I could not find a paper party hat, but this is a party. So this is, I'm not going to wear it all hour. I'm not going to distract you, but let's get festive. I would like to begin by introducing our Executive Director, Joanne Morris. Hi, Joanne.
Hello, thank you, James. As I can see, you wear many hats. I'm so happy to be here tonight. This year is our 17th annual festival, and I want to thank you all for joining us. This is one of our favorite events. This is our annual preview party. So again, welcome. So this year our festival will be a hybrid event. We'll have 3 night films. They'll be in person at the Firehouse Center for the Arts, and that will be the weekend of September 17th through the 19th. In addition, all 28 films, including 10 features and 3 shorts blocks, will be available to be streamed online the 17th through the 26th. We had hoped to have the entire festival as an in-person event this year, but for the safety of our audience, we decided to adopt this hybrid format. Fortunately, we got a crash course last year with how to have a virtual event, so we feel pretty comfortable with pulling it off. Mm-hmm. For our in-person events, we are going to be requiring a proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test within 48 hours, and we're all going to mask together when we're indoors. Before I return you to our host, James, I do want to thank you for your ongoing support by coming to our events. I want to thank our volunteer staff, and I also want to thank this year's platinum level sponsors. We're really fortunate. So we have support from the Mass Cultural Council, the local cultural councils from Amesbury, Merrimack, West Newbury, Newburyport, Rowley, and Salisbury, the Institute for Savings, and Tomlinson and Hatch. I'm now going to grab my popcorn and join you all in the audience and enjoy the show.
Thank you, Joanne. Enjoy yourself while I take the heavy lifting from here. Mm-hmm. Pour one for me. Okay, so welcome again, everyone. We are about to show you trailers for just about every program that we're offering, and we couldn't be more excited to show the films that we are going to be showing this year. We'll go through that in a minute. I just want to take care of a couple of pieces of housekeeping. First of all, those of you who are joining us here on either Facebook or on our YouTube channel to watch our preview party should know, if you haven't already caught wind of this, that we're doing a ticket giveaway, an all-access virtual pass, which is a $75. Which is worth a value of $75, which means that you can stream any or all of the films in the festival at any point from the beginning of the festival, September 17th through the 26th. All you need to do, regardless of whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, is to enter a comment on either of those platforms using the hashtag #ticket. And we just were discussing this a minute ago. We're not positive, but we think you should probably use the capital T just to be sure if you want a chance to win the all access pass. So that's go through YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching. Enter a comment or ask a question, and add hashtag capital T ticket to that, and that will automatically enter your name into our contest, and we will pick a winner at a winner of the virtual all access pass at the end of tonight's program. And I also want to mention that if you are interested, we hope the idea with the preview party, for those of you who have attended in person the last several years that we've held them at the Grog and then at the Mission Oak, they've been really fun events, and they've given us an opportunity to provide sneak peeks of all the films that we're going to be showing to our audience. And if you see anything that you like, it's very easy to buy a ticket, whether you want to buy a ticket to one of the live events, which we will get to in a minute, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night at the Firehouse Center for the Arts, or if you want to buy a virtual ticket to any of the films at any point through the course of the festival, just go to our website, which Steve will show you here. And I want to say thanks right off the top to our tech guru, Steve. Cahill, who's been doing a great job. This is what the homepage of our website looks like. Click on the film guide to get a sense of what films we're showing. There's a couple of little tabs at the top of this page that will let you sort by feature films or by shorts blocks or by theme. There's various ways to access what our film lineup is. And then if you see anything at all that looks of interest to you, and I hope you see several things, you just click through any particular film to buy a ticket. So in this case, this film, An Impossible Project, is actually showing in a live screening at the Firehouse Center for the Arts on Saturday night, but also available to stream live. So you would just make that selection as you click through. Any other questions, we're happy to answer them, but that's the basic gist of how to order a ticket to the festival. So without further ado, pour yourself a glass. This is a party. And we want to just tell you about we have loads of programming beyond the films themselves. We have several free programs that we're excited to tell you about. So I'm going to do that first, and then we're going to start watching some trailers. First and foremost is an inaugural event this year. It is being named our Yes Award. This is a filmmakers award for what we did was we reached out to the film departments of local Boston and New England colleges and asked if there were any film students who would want to submit to a competition for college level filmmakers. And we are calling this first year of this award the Yes Awards, Young Emerging Filmmaker Showcase, YES, the Yes Awards. It is being brought to you by our friends at Dietz and Lynch Capital. We couldn't thank them enough for sponsoring this particular event. It has been put together mostly by our volunteers, Peter and George. Peter and George, thank you so much for taking on this initiative. We're very excited to show it. The event itself will take place at 1 p.m. on Saturday, the 18th, at the Screening Room. This is our other venue in Newburyport, for those of you who are familiar with the area. And it's a free event. You just need to pre-register through our website to attend because space will be limited in part due to our COVID restrictions. All 6 of the filmmakers whose films we have entered into the competition will be on hand. And at the end, we will pick a winner and award that person later that evening with a $500 gift, which is pretty cool. And we look forward to conducting the Yes Awards for years to come. So join us at 1 p.m. on Saturday if that sounds interesting to you. We have, for the last 5 or 6 years, had another student-based film project, film program that's run each year during our festival in September. This is from the high school students of our friends at Raw Artworks in Lynn, Massachusetts. And Steve, if you want to maybe just give us a peek of the website there. Raw, as they call themselves, does after-school art therapy programs. They are a fantastic organization that, among other things, runs a documentary film program in which the students spend summer hours and after-school hours, I believe, creating. And here's their website. Here's their website for their reel-to-reel film school. And so these students make short films that are usually pretty powerful. And as I mentioned, for the last several years, we've partnered with Raw to show some of their filmmakers' work. And we will be doing that again this year as kind of a kickoff to our festival at 4 p.m. on Friday the 17th. That is a virtual event that you can find right here, same place that you're watching the preview party, either on YouTube or on Facebook Live. And for more information, check out our program or check our website. The third and I believe final free event that we have planned. Some of you may recall that in past years we've shown works in progress, films by typically Boston area or Massachusetts-based filmmakers or New England-based filmmakers, typically based on subjects of local interest, and we certainly have that this year. On Monday, the 20th of September at 7 p.m., again, either on YouTube or Facebook, live streaming. We are going to be pleased to welcome the co-directors of an upcoming documentary film called Power and Light, which is about the gas explosions that occurred in Lawrence, Massachusetts 3 years ago and their aftermath. And so we would like to show, so what you're going to see if you attend that event is about 30 minutes of raw-ish footage from the filmmakers, Marian Lipschutz and Rose Rosenblatt, who are New York-based and are making this film about the gas explosions in Lawrence. They're going to provide us with about 30 minutes of raw footage, after which we'll have a conversation in which viewers can provide the filmmakers with their feedback, what you liked, what you'd love to see more of, what you'd love to see less of. You know, we've had a couple of these in past years, and mostly in person, and they've gone great. So, Steve, would you mind showing us a brief snippet? We've got about a minute of a clip from the Power and Light footage that we'll be showing on Monday the 20th.
A series of fatal explosions outside Boston on Thursday, apparently from a ruptured gas pipe.
Of a gas main caused the incident.
A teenager is dead. At least 10 people have been injured and nearly 40 homes reduced to rubble or in flames.
Evacuate all buildings and houses. Evacuate all buildings and
When we first got word of this incident, the least informed and the last to act has been Columbia Gas.
En el día de hoy tenemos con nosotros al reverendo Joel Almonó, con quien vamos a estar conversando e interactuando sobre un tema crítico. ¿Por qué estamos en este problema y cuál es qué es lo que se nos sobreviene a nosotros en los próximos años?
Cada crisis es una oportunidad para crecer y cambiar. No solamente ellos, son muchos que están así. Entonces hay que luchar porque la comunidad sea beneficiada con este lío.
Resarcida por todos los problemas, porque es que realmente tú no te buscaste este problema.
No, y lo otro que me preocupa que no hemos tocado es que cada vez que un niño de estos de Loren oyen sí, de una vez están...
Ya te ponen unos pelos que le llegan a la nalga, a Lawrence.
Every crisis presents an opportunity for change. We feel like we all learned that lesson on multiple levels in the past year plus. And as Joanne said at the top, we're at least grateful that we learned how to do a virtual presentation of the film festival so that we could keep bringing these films to our extended Newburyport audience. So that's our work in progress session. That's a little taste of our work in progress session, which will once again take place in a live stream on Monday, the 20th at 7 p.m. A couple other things I'd like to take care of. Steve and I have been conducting interviews with almost all of the feature filmmakers that we're welcoming into our festival this year. And those all exist. They're about 15 minutes or so long each, and they've all been great conversations with the filmmakers about their films. They're all posted at this point to our YouTube channel. Steve, maybe if you can show that real quick. Those of you who maybe are using YouTube now to stream the event, the preview party, or those of you who might want to sign on and take a look at some of these interviews later, we highly encourage you to do so. We'd also love to have you click on our subscribe button. We're looking to add to the subscribers on our YouTube channel because, among other things, we get to name our own YouTube channel if we reach a certain number of subscribers. But we also want to continue to bring you high-quality content in addition to the films throughout the year, not just during festival time every September. And I just wanted to mention, Steve, I think I skipped the order here, but Those interviews, we've been doing them for the last several weeks now in preparation for the festival. At the beginning, I've been hosting all of them. Steve named those interview sessions Live with James. And at a certain point I said, hey, I never got any say on the name of that, on the naming of our interview program. I don't really want it to be about me. The interviews are about the filmmakers and about the film festival. So we came up with another name, and we are happy to unveil it now if Steve's ready. And it is our filmmaker interviews are now called The Dark Side. Like I said, it's a preview party. Everybody with me? Good. Okay. Okay. So, please do subscribe at our YouTube channel. I will take one more moment before we start looking at trailers to remind you that if you are so inclined, and I see that several of you are so inclined so far, to get your name entered for our virtual all access pass, which will be given away at the end of the broadcast, please do post a comment or a question with the hashtag capital T ticket. Okay. Good luck. And I hope to call your name at the end of the hour. And let's see how we do in terms of keeping it to an hour. Okay. So what we are now going to spend most of the rest of our time together doing is taking a look at the films. That's enough of me and enough of our housekeeping. I'll say again, we've had, I mean, we're very proud of all the films we've shown for 17 years in the Documentary Film Festival of Newburyport, but we feel that over the last several years, for a number of reasons, maybe our increased visibility, certainly the increased access of all kinds of filmmakers to the means of production to create great documentary filmmaking. We feel like we've gotten more and more submissions and more excellent submissions. And we feel like the quality of and the caliber of our films just continues to go up. And so we're very excited to show you what we have on tap this year. And I hope you make some notes and want to sign up to watch a couple of them, or maybe come to one or two of the screenings at the Firehouse. What we'll do is we'll begin with the 3 shorts blocks that we've created. We have trailers showing a little bit of each of the shorts packaged together. All 3 of the shorts blocks have been packaged thematically, and they will go as follows. And I will introduce them briefly and then let the trailer run so you can get a taste of them. Shorts, for anyone who's attended our festival or any film festival before, shorts blocks tend to be a particularly entertaining way to engage with the festival because, they kind of cover everything under the sun, a wide variety of films and styles of films. And it's kind of like the classic, candy sampler thing. If you don't love one, you'll probably love the next one. So you just sample the next one. But we feel really good about the ones that we have this year. So the first of the 3 is going to be called Silver Linings: Scenes from a Pandemic. So on top of the idea that we learned how to go virtual last year, we've all talked about it, sort of the work from home thing, or, better engaging with your kids again, because everybody was stuck at home for a while. Whatever the case may be, the last year and a half have stunk for a lot of reasons, but we've also learned to discover the silver linings. And these, I believe it's 5 films, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. They all, in their own way, are not just about the COVID experience, but they're unique ways of thinking about the COVID experience. And without saying any more, let's just go ahead and watch the trailer for these 5 films. So from what it's like to try to conduct a romance during a pandemic, to what it's like to try to raise a kid during a pandemic, to what it's like to try to run a business that's been devastated by the pandemic, like the flower industry, which, if you think about it, there were no funerals and no weddings in the past year, to what it's like to live in total isolation as an astronaut. These films all show unique takes on the whole COVID experience that we've all endured together for the last year and a half. Our second shorts block is called The Art of Community. And this one involves 4 films that each in their own way describe what it's like to create a community. And again, without saying any more, let's watch that trailer.
I've always been curious about people, I mean, we all have a story to tell.
It's just a little own ecosystem and world you can just lose yourself in quite easily.
So those films take us right from right here in our backyard in the south end of Boston, which is where that little neighborhood lock shop exists, where they've been in a family business for multiple generations, and if I remember correctly, about 100 years or so, all the way over across the pond to the North Sea in the northern UK, and sort of a barren coastal, or not barren, but a rural coastal community, and how they've learned to adapt after decades of major change, affected them. And then our third shorts block is called Wonderful World. Every year we look forward to finding the films that have been submitted that are of the, what we always call the quirky variety, unusual takes on the world around us, things that make us smile, things that you hadn't really thought to pay too much attention to before. And that's the theme of this block. So let's take a look at that trailer for these 4 films.
Go to jail, did you? No? Well, that's good.
If you need a smile or a laugh, that shorts block might be the place to go. Wonderful World, it's called. The Girl with the Rivet Gun, you need to see it to believe it. It's about the Rosie the Riveter phenomenon of women of the World War II generation who went to work in the factories when the men were all over, or many of the men were overseas fighting the war. But it's made in this amazingly creative method of stop action. It's real voices of real women who are still with us, who were Rosie the Riveters during World War II. But their voices are set to those little cardboard cutout stop motion figures that you see. And it's really a really cool, totally unique piece of work. I know, well, so you saw the older women, Grandma and Ginga. That is a laugh out loud, funny short that anchors this shorts block about two women who were, one was over 100, one was just about 100. They were sisters. And they became accidental internet stars a few years ago because they're just, every word out of their mouth is hilarious. And I know that our executive director, Joanne, has a very soft spot in her heart for Snowy the Pet Turtle, which is another one of the short films in this shorts block. So again, if you're looking for a smile or a laugh, that might be a good place to go. Okay. I'm going to take a brief moment to just remind everybody once again, we've got a bunch of submissions, but if you want to have your name entered into the competition for the drawing at the end of tonight's show for the virtual all access pass, please post on either YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching right now, with the hashtag capital T ticket. There it is. Okay, so now we are just going to work our way through the 10 feature films that we're showing this year, each of which we have a trailer for. So I will be as brief with my words as possible. Just want you to see the trailers. At first, we're going to go in the order of the 3 films that are actually going to be shown live at the Firehouse Center for the Arts. Friday night's opening night film is called, oh, and I before I introduce this, I should mention, I mentioned earlier the YouTube videos that we have, the interviews that we have with almost all of the feature filmmakers. Those are available in full on our YouTube channel, but we're going to show you a little taste of a few of them to give you an idea of how fun and lively the conversations have been with the filmmakers, beginning with this film. We just spoke with the director, Scott Golick, yesterday, I believe it was. His film is called Set! Exclamation point. Set! Exclamation point. And all I'm going to say about it before we watch the trailer is that it is about something that I would bet is, what's the saying? Donuts to dollars, that you have never heard of before. The competitive world of table setting. So let's take a look at that trailer, Steve.
Table setting is something that people take very seriously.
She is proud of her table arrangement and thinks she deserves a word of congratulation.
The point of having the table set in just the right fashion
Doesn't the butter knife belong here?
lets you take all stress away from people.
It's stressing me out a little bit. I don't even know what to do right now.
Tablescaping I would compare to brain surgery.
God, it's hard.
Oh, Jesus. It's serious business.
15 minutes till forks down.
This is the Olympics of table setting. There are rules and regulations, and you follow those just like in a sport.
My water glass and my wine glass were switched last year. That brought my points down.
Well, I forgot the fork. So I call it forking myself, and...
Does this take over your life? Yes.
I travel the world looking for items for my table. I keep my tables up all year round.
Coming into the sensory deprivation chamber gives me a little bit more of a creative edge over the other contestants.
This is more than just putting silverware and dishes on the table.
What's your table shape this year? Are you circular?
Tablecloths are easier to make for the rectangle.
They think I'm the quiet old woman, but I can be frisky.
How'd you like our table?
Oh, it's real nice. Since I've been unemployed for as long as I have, I thrifted the hell out of this table. Oh, I didn't need to buy water goblets. Great.
He really needs a win in this competition.
We all are trying to win Best of Show.
We deserve Best of Show. This was my year.
I don't like losing.
One crease could be the difference between the ribbon or second place.
I don't like second and third.
These women are out for blood.
It's competitive.
People said I should burn in hell.
I don't think putting a taxidermy animal on my table would make me feel good.
Everything was measured, everything is placed correctly, everything is perfectly on there. I want that damn ribbon.
Best of show.
I think it's a lot more than tablescaping. It has a lot to do with life.
Did you know that it's harder to blow up condoms than you think it is? Like, putting them on the way they're supposed to be put on is so much easier than doing anything else with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, not so much about table setting, it's about life. And that is, that in a nutshell is what we love about doing this documentary film festival. The films are about, in every one of them in their own unique way, is about life, including the table setting competition. So when I interviewed director Scott Golick yesterday, I asked him how much he kept the mockumentaries of Christopher Guest and his crew in mind, and how much he tried to push those thoughts out of his head. So I'm thinking of the comedy films that look like documentaries, like Waiting for Guffman or Best in Show, which I'm sure a bunch of you are well aware of. And his reply was basically, yeah, I get asked that every single time anybody asks me anything. So, kind of took a bite out of my my pride and my question asking skills. But anyway, let's take a look, if we can, at a little snippet of our interview with set director Scott Golick. We're pleased to welcome Scott Golick to our interview stage. Hi, Scott. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. I was just at the fair randomly, just, passing time between birth and death. We walked into this one room and there was just a bunch of tables. So I thought that's where we would eat, and I looked around and they're like, no, you can't eat here. There was like ribbons and it was very confusing. I looked around and there it was, a competitive table setting competition. It was like a mirage, was kind of looking around the room and realizing that everyone in this room was having the same reaction that I was having. And then I realized, well, if this can have this sort of effect on me and all these other people, that people can sit through a 90-minute movie, that's for sure.
So to be clear, this is what, the Orange County Fair?
Right. It's the OC Fair. People in Orange County there's just a certain type of people in LA. They're used to cameras. They're around cameras. They'll kind of ham it up, and most of these people didn't really want to participate in a documentary or something. So I think the subjects of the film are a little bit more authentic. So it's kind of a happy accident that we ended up in Orange County.
Just so happens to be my wife's and my anniversary. And so it just so happens that I'm using the crystal glass from our wedding for an anniversary glass of champagne. Where should I put it on my desk?
Oh my God, we got to get Bonnie on the phone. I mean, I still eat off of paper plates. I don't know. The movie's everything you've never wanted to know about setting the table. And, honestly, that trailer, there's a 3-minute segment in the beginning of the film that kind of tells you the rules of the competition. And then the rest of the movie kind of has nothing to do with setting the table, as you've seen it and your viewers will see too. So, I am not the authority on setting the table. I've just met some wonderful people that took me on their journey getting their table ready.
Okay, so just to clear up one thing, I do not have a drinking problem. Yesterday was, in fact, my anniversary, and we were interviewing Scott, so I showed him the champagne glass. And tonight, as I mentioned, is a party. So let's just make sure that that's clear, okay? I'm just going on the record. I don't have a drinking problem. I just enjoy celebrating. Speaking of celebrating, let's talk about the next film that we're going to show a trailer of. This is our Saturday night film, which will be screening at the Firehouse Center for the Arts, 7 p.m. And just to be clear, if anyone wants to see any of the 3 films that will be featured in person at the Firehouse Center, but can't make it or would prefer not to make it and sit in an audience with masks, etc., You are more than welcome to also stream all those films as well as all the rest of our program. So just wanted to make that clear. An Impossible Project, we've actually been trying to bring this film here for a year or so. It is made by our friend, the filmmaker, the German filmmaker, Jens Mueller. We'll hear from Jens in a minute. An Impossible Project is his story about a somewhat eccentric Austrian visionary who everyone calls Dr. Kaps. Dr. Kaps started an endeavor about 15 years ago to revive the film needed for the one-step cameras that Polaroid was famous for several decades ago. And as many people in this region know, because Polaroid was based in Cambridge, Polaroid went out of business, right around the time of the advent of digital cameras. Our subject in Jens's film, An Impossible Project, created a company to make the film again for those cameras, reviving the Polaroid brand, is a terrible businessman, and got bumped out of his own company by a guy who came in to sort of set the ship right and said, look, you're a creative guy, but you have no head for business. See ya. And the film takes it from there and follows Dr. Kaps's ongoing project to revive or continue to celebrate all kinds of analog technology in our digital age. So let's go ahead and take a look at that trailer.
My wife tends to the theory that I'm one of the world's biggest losers. And I think that I'm one of the most successful visionaries.
Hi. Hello. When Florian said, I want to buy this film factory, there was many skeptics. It'll never happen.
They continue to tell me, this is impossible, this is impossible, this is impossible. So I gave up and said, yeah, let's call it impossible. This is the wonderful thing about what we are doing.
What would be your answer when I ask you, what is the smell of Facebook?
When everybody was running in this direction, I thought, hey, maybe it's cool to look in the other direction.
Express yourself. Express yourself. You don't know.
We are analog. Human beings, we're analog, and that's part of the reason why we gravitate towards analog things still.
My theory is that digital always just tickles two of your senses. I can see it, I can hear it, but it's always behind the glass screen. So I cannot really touch it, I cannot smell it, I cannot lick it. It's nothing real.
Bellissima. Trust your senses. You know, not everything is about 0 and 1.
Everybody wants to leave some traces in this world.
I'm going to ask for my producer's help for a second. Steve, I just got a weird message. I couldn't see the clip. It played, right? Okay. Just making sure. I think it said something about my browser for some reason wouldn't play the clip. I hope everybody else got a chance to see the clip. I see in our comments that at least one or two of you are commenting on that film, so I think you probably did see it. Steve, I think we were going to show a clip of Jens speaking, but let's move on from that. Okay, we're gonna move to the third live film. But if anybody's interested, I'll say it again. Please go to our YouTube channel and stream any of the videos or any of the filmmaker interviews that you'd like. I would love to hear your feedback on those because we had a lot of fun. We've been having a lot of fun doing them. The third and final film that we'll show live at the Firehouse Center for the Arts. This one will be on our Sunday night closing film. You can still stream films for the following week or so, but the live in-person closing film will be The United States versus Reality Winner. That film will show at 5 o'clock on Sunday night, or, of course, streaming at any point during the 9 or 10 days of the festival. United States versus Reality Winner, for those of you who are not familiar, Reality Winner is the spectacularly named young woman who was in the news a few years ago because she worked at the NSA, and she was the person who came across documents that showed unequivocally that the Russians did make efforts to interfere with the 2016 election. And so she leaked those documents to the press, and she has spent the last several years in prison, and I believe she's in a halfway house now, working her way out of the system after paying the price for leaking those documents. So this is a pretty powerful, extremely well-made film. The filmmaker, Sonia Kennebec, is coming up from Brooklyn, I believe, to join us in person on Sunday night. And let's take a look at that clip for United States versus Reality Winner.
They put a billboard up with Reality's picture in Augusta, Georgia. It says, let me see here, it says, veteran reality winner, jailed 1 year, no bail, no trial for exposing threats to the U.S. elections, ? Hashtag justice for reality. Oh, until they declassify that document, the attorneys can't talk about it, read about it, search about it. They're under a very strict protective order. They could actually be charged with the same crime that she's charged with if they go out and talk about Russian interference in our election. And the judge is doing this purposefully, tying their hands.
Among other things, I'm looking at the comments that have been input, not just for those of you who want to join, have your name entered into the drawing for the virtual all access pass, but also several of you very helpfully confirmed for me that you actually did see the clip for an Impossible project, which I, for some reason, couldn't see from my home setup here in the home office of the Dockside. So thank you so much for that. But I'll also just say that, the Sullivans, Arthur and Ann, no relation to me, never met them before, are saying, what an exciting lineup. Love to hear it. They think so much. They posted it twice, actually. Deb Glancy is looking forward to seeing Snowy the Turtle. 3 exclamation points. Great job with the festival, says S. Backley 13. And Nancy says, loved the virtual festival last year. I live too far away to see them live. So among other silver linings has been the fact that we, as well as virtually every other film festival in existence, has found an entirely new audience because people are able to stream our stuff, from across the globe in some cases. We have films from filmmakers in Germany and Australia this year, and we're looking forward to having some of their friends and family and people who might be familiar with their work join us. So Steve is kindly posting some of the comments, and keep them coming. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, so let's move on. The next batch, the rest of the films that we're going to show are all streaming virtually from September 17th. I believe it's 6 p.m. when the streaming begins, when the availability of all the films begins. But you might want to double check that on the website. All the way through the 26th. Let's see, the Sunday the 26th. So at any point, if you're up in the middle of the night, if you wake up early and don't have a deadline that day, You're welcome to stream any of our films, including the ones that we've already mentioned that are showing screening live at any point that week. So the rest of these are online only virtual features. I will be brief, and we'll take a look at the trailers. Gary K, One Step at a Time. This is a film about alcohol addiction. And no, my name is not Gary K. It is James. The film is actually about a man who is, among other things, an actor, a stage actor based in New York City, who's been fighting his own alcohol addiction for many years, but also has developed a play, a two-man play, about the co-founders of Alcoholics Anonymous. This film actually comes to us through the director Susan Gray, who's a longtime friend of ours here at the film festival. She's a Boston-based filmmaker, and she served as a judge for us for many years, on and off. She will be recusing herself from judging on her own film, but we are happy to present it because it's really good. And Gary K is a compelling character, and not the least. He's funny, among other things, but it's also a very intense subject. So let's take a look at the trailer for Gary K, One Step at a Time.
I started drinking when I was about 12. When I was 16, I was in an automobile wreck and killed people. And I decided that the day I graduated high school, I would leave and go to New York. And the Broadway Limited Amtrak stopped through my hometown outside of Akron. And I had a cardboard suitcase with jeans, a white shirt, a blue blazer, a carton of Camel non-filters, and a bottle of Teacher's Scotch. And off I went to New York City. And I'd walk around in cutoffs and a pair of high tops and a chorus line t-shirt that I had cut in half, so it was like a mid-trip. And this is where my serious drinking and drugging began. You never drank? I'm also allergic to it. Every time I drink it, I break out in handcuffs. I used to work at a club, and the dance floor was on the main floor, and there was a net. We danced in our scanties on trapeze and would drop down onto the net, which was stretched so that you would come just out of finger reach for people dancing on the dance floor. And we were the entertainment tonight. Truman Capote was often there. I was back in those, in the height of the raging height of the disco era. That was quite exciting, being 17. All right.
Our next film, Missing in Brooks County, is a unique look into the debate about the border wall and border immigration on the Texas-Mexico border that the country has been roiled in for the last several years. Filmmakers Lisa Malamat and Jeff Bemis have looked at, they spoke with several families who have been in the excruciating process of desperately trying to find the whereabouts of loved ones who tried to make their way illegally across that disputed border from Mexico into Texas, trying to create better lives for themselves. And in an incredibly undertold, I think, part of the border immigration story, thousands of people who have made that illegal crossing have ended up lost in the wilderness of Texas and dead of exposure because there's no one to help them. And they are actually so far from the border, you'd be surprised. So this is another pretty hard-hitting film that actually speaks directly to something that we've all seen in the news regularly over the last several years. So let's watch the trailer for Missing in Brooks County.
The federal government thinks if you put the Border Patrol station 60 miles north, Jose is going to be stupid enough to go through there and then you'll catch him. And that's not true. The Border Patrol station is making these people walk in that deep sand with very little water.
Sheriff's Office, how may I help you? I'm trying to have some information regarding a family member who is missing.
There's been a lot of missing people.
We realized there was a big problem along the border. And I don't think anybody realized just how big it was. Thousands of people have died.
An illegal alien crosser is an illegal alien crosser. It's black and white, it's not gray. We're in a war zone here.
This is the South Texas Human Rights Center.
It's like you just walk off the earth. It's as if you never existed.
The next film we'll take a look at is Sapelo, S-A-P-E-L-O. It is a beautiful, atmospheric film about the traditional Geechee people of coastal South Carolina, and specifically about an older woman who is trying to maintain the traditions of her culture while raising two boys as her surrogate grandchildren. And it's a beautiful film. So let's take a look at the trailer for Sapelo. Or we will, okay. We will try to get back to that one, or we will not. It might not be playing properly right now. No problem, producer Steve. I will ask again a little later if we can get back to that trailer. In the meantime, let's take a look at The Last Lightkeepers. This is a very much New England-based film by a returning filmmaker, Rob Apps, who has had a film in our festival several years ago, and he's back now with a film about the folks who take custody. Those of you who are, sort of maritime people probably know that plenty of lighthouses in New England have been decommissioned, and many of them have gone up for auction, just looking for caretakers. And so this film is about the people who take it upon themselves to purchase and then take care of the historic lighthouses of New England. And before we roll the clip, I should just mention, this is one of a few of our feature films that is packaged with certain other short films that are not part of the shorts blocks that we mentioned earlier. The Last Lightkeepers, if you stream that, will be featured with another beautiful short film called Games of Survival, A Culture Preserved in Ice, which is about Alaskan Eskimo Indians and what they consider to be their Olympic Games, which are these traditional Eskimo competitions, and you've never really seen anything like it. So that's highly recommended. And in the meantime, let's take a look at the feature film, The Last Lightkeepers.
Pretty good now, I'm going. Got the bow line? Yeah. We may hit the rocks on the way in. Here we go.
I definitely think history is on the back burner in our public schools and private schools. There's just so much more to learn as time goes by. So where do we put this very important topic?
I don't understand why it's sitting there when there were opportunities to save it.
It's striking to be here, and some people just weren't acquainted enough with what this was like, and they thought I was nutty. And for the most part, when people get out here and see what a dramatic place this is and how historically significant this lighthouse is, they tend to have a better understanding of why I'd be passionate about this place.
Anybody who loves lighthouses, anybody who cares about lighthouses, has to make themselves into one of the last lightkeepers.
Few more to go, folks. You're hanging in there well. Thanks for being with us. Our next feature film, if you choose to stream it, will be packaged with a short film called Night Songs, which is another really pretty gorgeous short film about a British bird enthusiast who moves to southern New Hampshire and realizes that all kinds of birds travel directly across his own property in southern New Hampshire on their migration paths from north to south. And he develops a very systematic way of documenting those migration patterns of the birds that pass over his house. The feature film is called The Merrimack River at Risk. And for those of you, I know we have people tuning in from all over, and you're welcome to stream, and we would love to have you stream our festival from all over the globe. But those of you from the immediate area are well aware that our main lifeline to the mouth of the Atlantic is the Merrimack River, which was the source of all the mill towns of the Merrimack Valley. Lowell, Lawrence, Manchester, New Hampshire, was in desperate need of heavy-duty cleanup several decades ago. And as this film and director Jerry Monkman show, is still considered, actually, it's been very much cleaned up, but it's still considered an endangered river. So let's take a look at the trailer for The Merrimack River at Risk.
Along the highways and under the bridges, behind the malls, past the factories, flows a vital resource, a source of life, an important piece of New England's past, present, and future. Forgotten and ignored by many is a river that seems familiar, yet is often overlooked, waiting to be rediscovered. A river at great risk.
So what does the Merrimack River mean to you?
It doesn't really mean much to me, you know.
It's just a river.
It's really dirty, stinky. It smells all the time.
I'm Leah Hart, and I'm going to lead you on a journey through New England's backyard. We'll discover a river that powered the Industrial Revolution and some of New England's biggest cities. While our cities thrived, the rivers suffered.
So today, okay, I'm going to tell you, this is a beautiful river, all right? When I actually was born and bred here in Lowell, and you didn't come down to the river, all right? The river was in a horrible state.
Do you remember as a kid
there was dead fish, there was, it was polluted, there was actually, raw sewage coming through the system. You did not go on the river. If you fell in, you'd probably go to the hospital and get a tetanus shot, okay? I'm just saying it was one of the worst polluted rivers in New England.
Learn how the river we rely on is now endangered, threatened once again. Did you know that actually, even though this river seems like really nice to swim in and pretty clear, it's one of the most endangered rivers?
Endangered, what does that mean exactly?
In the United States.
Endangered.
Can we save it? The Merrimack.
Two films to go, and we'll get you on out of here. Our next feature film is called This Is Our School. We have shown a handful of films over the 17 years of the Documentary Film Festival about unique school settings, unique approaches to education. This one, it comes from director Iqbal Barkat, and it is about a school system, a very progressive and forward-thinking school system in one of the most diverse neighborhoods of Sydney, Australia. And Steve, if it's okay, I'd like to run the clip of a short clip of talking to Iqbal, because I think he's a fascinating character and will help us understand why we'd love to have folks watch this one if you're so inclined. So let's take a look at the trailer for This Is Our School.
Hi Anna, how are you? Good? Are you excited for kindergarten?
No, my mom. No. You want to draw some pictures?
Down, across, and around.
Down, across.
Good, and again.
Wonderful.
One of the very big things about teaching kids is it's about teaching resilience. These kids that we have now are moving into a totally different world, one that's changing.
The warmth in the ocean kills the coral, gets rid of all the colour and the biodiversity within the ocean. What can you guys make to solve that problem?
And it has a motor in it as well. And the solar panels run the motor.
Yep.
And then inside there's like a control bit.
Yeah. Cool. And you got to represent Australia changing the way that we do things in the sea, which is good.
So this is Hadia. Hadia speaks Farsi, and this is Mohammed speaks Farsi, okay? So can you just explain to Mum, 1:15, she can meet them at the bottom of the stairs. Who's going to explain that?
مکتب ما ساعت 1:15 خلاص میشه و میتونی از اونجا بگیریش.
Okay. Okay, put your backs.
Inane kapuana, inane kapuana, lula, 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 yippee, yippee. This is our school.
One of the things that I love about this film is that if you notice, there's no voiceover. There's no narrator telling you what to think about how they're teaching these kids. It's literally just cameras immersing themselves in the daily lives of the students and their teachers. And I don't know if this is in the clip that we're going to show in a second or not, but when we were speaking with the director, Iqbal Barkat, he mentioned how much he's been influenced by Frederick Wiseman, who some of you may know is kind of like the dean of documentary filmmaking, based right here in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I think Mr. Wiseman is coming up on 90 years old. And I loved to hear that this director who's based in all the way around the globe in Australia was thinking about our own Frederick Wiseman while he was making this film. So regardless of whether that's in the clip or not, Steve, would you mind playing just a little snippet of the interview that we did a week or two ago with director Iqbal Barkat of the film This Is Our School? Ladies and gentlemen, Iqbal Barkat. Iqbal, you just want to mention that you are a filmmaker. You've made past documentaries, and you're also a professor in media and communications. Am I correct? At Macquarie University in Sydney.
That's right. Yes. Also, my work is in experimental cinema as well. So I've made smaller works. Most of my works are in the installation space as well. So I make works with other performers around dance and dancers. Yeah. So. And this student or ex-student of mine, she couldn't decide whether she wanted to be a filmmaker or a teacher. And finally, she decided to go into teacher's training. And at her first school, she had a year stint. She gave me a call. She says, Iqbal, I really think you need to visit this school. When I arrived, I discovered that it was really a unique environment. Firstly, it was in a very interesting suburb in Sydney, because, you know, we speak about diversity in Sydney, but what this suburb also had was class diversity as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, with the rising prices of property, there were, you know, expensive properties, there were rich people, and there were also struggling families there. And also many of the Afghan refugees were settled around this area as well.
And we have one more trailer to show you. This would be for the 10th and final feature film that we'll be presenting, which is called Voices from Vietnam. Before we show the trailer, I'll just mention that Voices from Vietnam is packaged together with two short films. One is called Making a Picture, which is about, it's a short film about a photographic artist who uses innovative techniques of his own design. And he's based in Lowell. He's the subject of the film. And the other film is also locally based. It's called An Uninterrupted View of the Sea. And it's kind of an experimental short film based on the memories of the filmmaker's Asian immigrant family who were well established in the United States in the early 20th century, but then around the time of World War II were forced to show proof of their citizenship. And it's kind of a look back into one family's conflicted history about their relationship to their adopted home in America. Voices from Vietnam is, we've all seen, I'm sure that just about anybody watching our program tonight has seen plenty of documentary shows about Vietnam. However, Voices from Vietnam is something else. It is the story of one veteran who created, in order to process his own feelings about the war, created a stage show, a one-man stage show with musical accompaniment based on his own writings and the journal writings, letters home, etc., by people that he befriended when he was serving in Vietnam and others that he has met since. So this is essentially a short film based on a stage show about one man's exploration of his feelings about serving in Vietnam. So if we can take a look at that clip, Steve, that would be great.
A young man once went off to war in a far country, and when he had time, he wrote home and he said, "Dear Mom, sure rains here a lot." But his mother, reading between the lines, as mothers always do, wrote back, "We're quite concerned, son. Tell us what it's like." And the young man responded, "Oh, wow, Mom, you ought to see the funny monkeys." To which the mother replied, "Don't hold back. How is it? How is it there?" And the young man wrote, "Mom, the sunsets here are spectacular, just spectacular." In her next letter, the mother pleaded, "Son, we need you to tell us everything. Please, tell us everything." So the next time he wrote, the young man said, "Dear Mom, today I killed a man. Yesterday we dropped napalm on women and children." And the father wrote right back, "Son, do not write such depressing letters. You're upsetting your mother." So after a while, the young man wrote, "Dear Mom, sure rains here a lot."
It's good. It's powerful. It's maybe not the most festive way to go out on our preview party, but I hope you've seen some things that have grabbed your attention, things that you want to see, whether they might be in person at the Firehouse Center or during our virtual festival. Congratulations, you made it to the end of our preview party. We just have a couple of quick things to do to wrap up. And the first of them, and most important, probably, well, second most important, let's say, is to award our winner of the drawing for the virtual all access pass. $75 value. You can stream every single one of our 28 films if you'd like to. So let's do it, Steve. Oh, I saw some Sullivans. They're not related to me. And our winner is Ruthie True. Ruthie, congratulations. Ruthie, did you comment? I think you did. Oh, she said, well, at least she told me that she saw, yes, love the Newburyport DocuFest. Thanks to all for this great addition to our community. Well, thank you, Ruthie. And you are the proud owner of a virtual all access pass to the 17th annual Newburyport Documentary Film Festival. We will make sure to contact you in the next day or so to let you know how to access your ticket. Thanks for everybody else. Thanks to everybody else for making the effort to tune in. I would like to say, reminder that, if you want to buy any tickets or want to take another look at the films, just go to our website, nbptdocufest.org, or just Google us, Newburyport Documentary Film Festival. Take a look at our website. Choose what films you want. But more importantly, please help us spread the word about the festival to your friends. And by friends, we mean friends across the globe, because you can stream just about all of our films from virtually anywhere. There's a couple of restrictions on 1 or 2 films, but you'll get to that point when you get there. For the most part, almost all of our festival can be streamed from anywhere across the globe. So if you happen to be thoroughly entertained by our preview party, it will be archived beginning just after we finish here in a minute on our YouTube channel. And we strongly recommend that you post about it or share it with your friends. Anyone can watch the content of the preview party from here on out. Thank you so much for being with us live. But your friends and family and fellow documentary film lovers can watch it at any point between now and the beginning of the festival, which is coming right up on us next Friday. So we look forward to seeing you at some of our films, whether in person or online or both, in another week plus. And for now, I would just like to say thanks so much for sticking with us. And we'd like to say one more big shout out to our major sponsors for making this happen. We will see you soon at the movies.